And welcome back to another Java tutorial. My name is Kelvin from Firehawk Productions. In the last tutorial, I taught you guys how to do simple arithmetic using Java. So things like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and remainders. And in this tutorial, I'll be teaching you something called methods. So what is a method? A method is a group of statements that does something. And as we learned before, every class that we create, we've had to define one method called the main method. And so in the last tutorial, we created this class called simple arithmetic. And the main method that we created is right here. So it was public static void main. That's the main method. And as you can see here, this method, like all other methods, contains a group of statements, which are here, and they do something. So in this case, it prints out the remainder of y remainder x. Okay, so let's get started with a really simple method. I'm going to show you how to create a simple method. So create a new class for this. I'm going to right click, new class, and I'm just going to name it methods. Okay, so as always, we define the main method first. Okay, I'm going to leave the main method empty for now. And I'm just going to create a really simple method for me to demonstrate to you how a method works. So, copy what I do and I'll explain to you everything in the end. Okay, so in my method, what I want to do is take two integers, add them together, and then print the sum of the two. So notice how in the main method that we've created here, we've named it main. But in this method, I want to name it add because I want to print out the sum of two integers that I will be taking as parameters. So, okay, after you type in add, you put brackets and follow what I do. I'll explain to you everything in just a sec. Int x, int y, curly brackets, enter. Okay, so what does this mean so far? So first of all, we've named our method called add, and within the brackets here, which are called the parameters, we want to take a parameter that's an integer, and we also want to take another parameter that's also an integer. So here's what we do inside the method. We want to first take the sum of these two parameters. So we want to take the sum of x and y. How do we do this? Well, first I want to create a new variable called answer. And the variable answer will equal the sum of the two. So it'll be x plus y. Perfect. And what do I do after? Well, I want to print the answer. So system.out.println answer. There. That is the simplest method that someone can make. And so let me show you how it works. So as I said before, when your program first runs, Java always looks for the main method. But we also have a method here called add. Java's not going to look at that. Java's only going to look at the main method. So in order for us to call the method add in the main method, all we have to do is type in the method name, which is in our case add, and the two parameters that it requires. So let's do a really simple example. Let's say I wanted to find the sum of 5 and 10. Okay, so what does this statement mean? Well, first you typed in add, so then Java will look for a method called add, which we've defined up here. And then Java's going to look at the next two parameters. Are they both integers as we defined here and here? Yes. So therefore Java doesn't give us any errors. Now watch what happens when I press run. It's going to give me 15, which is correct because first it takes 5 and 10 as parameters here, and then answer right here equals 5 plus 10, and then system out print answer. Okay, so we can try other sums as well, like 7 and 35, add 15 and 24, and if I run this, it'll just keep printing the sums. Perfect. So why are methods important? Well, let's say if I didn't define this method, all right, and we wanted to find the sum of 15 and 10. Well, in order for us to do that, we would have to do something like int create a variable that takes the sum of 5 and 10, so 5 plus 10, and then we want to print it, so we would have to add the print statement, print A. And let's say we wanted to do the same thing with 7 and 35, then I'd have to create another variable and find the sum of 7 and 35, and then we want to print it. And then let's say we want to do the same thing for 15 and 24. So int c equals 15 plus 24, and we want to print it. Notice how it's very inefficient to do that. So instead of me writing 6 lines of code, all I have to do is just write 3 lines. And this really isn't such a big deal, like comparing 6 lines and 3 lines, but imagine if my method or the things I need to do contains, instead of 2 lines, it's 20 lines. And if I didn't have a method for that, then I would have to rewrite these statements over and over again. And so if I had to write 20 lines over and over and over again, that'd be very inefficient. Instead, all I have to do is write these lines once. So, for example, like this is equivalent to this. All right. A method allows you to write, a block of statements once, and then you can call it as many times as you want. And so, for example, like what we did here, we have 2 lines. We only had to write it once. So instead of writing all this again and again, all we have to write is the method name plus its parameters. So let's create another simple method that subtracts 2 integers. So we do the same thing, public static void, and let's name our method subtract. All right, and again we want to take 2 parameters that are both integers, and I'm gonna do the same thing. We want to create a variable called answer that's an integer, and it takes the answer of x minus y, and then we want to print it. Answer. Okay, so I know you're probably wondering that if there's already a variable called answer defined in the add method, then wouldn't that affect the variable answer in the subtract method? Well, the answer is no, because I'm just going to tell you straight up, it's really simple. Whatever happens in a method stays in the method. So you can have some variables in one method, and in another method they can be exactly the same variable names, and they won't affect each other because they are 2 different methods. Alright, so let's try using the subtract method that we just created. And I'm just going to try it for some simple numbers like 10 and 5. Subtract 20 and 10. Okay, and let's remove the other methods. Let's move the add statements that we created. So we should be expecting 2 different answers. We should be expecting 5 and 10. Let's see if that's the case. 5 and 10. So our method works. And that's all I'm going to be teaching for this video. In the next video, I'll be teaching you guys how to do more advanced methods as well as if statements. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you all next video.